I'll be teaching you how to use the bone tool. Now in this file, I have 3 shapes, and I'm going to convert each one of them into a symbol, and this one into a symbol, and then the last one into a symbol. And I'm going to change the position of the anchor point to be at the top. So this is where the joint is. Now one last thing that I'm going to do is add another shape, and this is going to help me when I'm animating this, let's say, hand or shape or chain. So again, I'm going to convert this into a symbol. So right click, convert to symbol. It doesn't matter what name it is. So now I have 3 shapes. All of them are symbols, and the anchor points are positioned nicely to match the animation that I want to go with. Now, if you don't see the bone tool here on your toolbar, you're going to click these 3 dots and then drag the tool that is not there that you want to work with. But I already have the bone tool here, so I don't need to drag it. Click on the bone tool, and then you're going to link these symbols together. So starting with this point, going then to the joints, and then going to this second joint, and then to the last point. Now I could move around, so using the selection tool, click on the bone and just drag it or rotate it or move it around in the position that you want to position this shape in. So let's say in this frame, I'm going to have it here, and then I'm just going to go to the first second, and I'm also going to move it around. And what this does is create poses for me. So imagine you have a character, you're going to make, let's say, their feet in the front, their hand on the back, and so on, and you're just changing the poses with the use of the bone tool. Okay. You could also clear a pose, so right click, you could clear a pose or copy a frame or remove it. So this is how it works. So clear, copy, or cut a pose. Now, after you're done animating, what you're going to do is go into the symbol of the circle and just make the opacity 0. Okay, so it's not visible in your animation. But what this does is create a skeleton for me. If this was not here, the movement is going to be hard, especially for the last point. It's not going to work the way that we'd like it to work. Now, in animation, if it was a real character, there is some sort of restraint. You can't, or constraint. You can't move the character like this. And Animate helps us kind of create a constraint in our movement. So if I click on the bone tool, what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to change the style of the bone. So click on the bone and then go to frame and then change it into a wire. So this just makes the bone tool more visible. And for me, it's easier. It just looks better because the other one was a line. It doesn't affect your animation, but it just looks different. Now, when you want to add a constraint, click on the bone, and then on your properties panel, choose constraint. And this, when you add this, the shape is not going to rotate 180. It's just going to rotate in the 45 angle mark. Now for the second bone, I'm also going to add a constraint, and I'll just make this wider, so minus 60 degrees, and then this one 60 degrees. And maybe for the last one, we're going to go with let's go with 75. And then this one, 75. Now, when I'm going to move this, it's not going to allow me to go with the 180 degrees position. And naturally, when your characters are moving or changing or walking, they don't move. It's not like a free constrained movement. There's always like a limit to the movement. So this is, we could add this and use this in our character animation, add a constraint. Now let's say in one of the shapes, you don't want it to move, you want it to be pinned, but you want everything else to move. So click on the bone that you want it to like be stuck and click pin. Now, when I'm gonna move the other ones, they're not gonna move because this one is like pinned. So you could use, maybe you want to use it in your project, so unpin. Yeah, so now it's slightly different. Okay, So this is the basics to using the bone tool. There are other options that you can add. So you could add a constraint into the x-axis or the y-axis, or even add some spring to the animation or the movement that you have. You can increase the strength or the damping. And that's it.